Okay, thank you. Hello to everybody. Okay, how to start? Okay, I got master degree around 12 years ago, and I'm specialized in things that Rick said already, and just a second, Rick, do I need to admit others to enter the room, or you will do that?
I will do that, and I will take
Okay.
away that sound that's coming in, so that you won't hear that sound anymore.
I hope everybody don't hear any back noise, because
No,
okay.
no problem, no problem.
Yeah, I'm guessing in these days everybody work from different places and homes and home offices and things like that. Okay, so I hold well, about 20 years already master degree in architecture, and I'm a licensed architect in my country. And I do a lot of work all around the world, and I have projects, I can say, on the almost all continents, and my projects are mostly, I always try, how to say, I think that our profession is like that we need to be some kind of connection between the people and between technology, and we need to be always up to date with the latest inventions and with latest how to say latest things that make life easier, because I really hardly believe that we are not that we are the crucial part of the living, and that is how I approach every project and every client, because because when you build something for the client, you're actually I always want to say, when I building a house for somebody, I am actually creating the home for them, and that is the most important thing, and you need to explore, and you need to search, and you need to ask, because I think that in my profession there is a lot of people that actually hold up too much to their opinion, and they are, how to say, I cannot say that they are arrogant, but they think that they know best. But when you're building a home for somebody, you actually need to ask what they need and what they want, not to push your idea. Of course, you have your expertise and you have experience and everything behind you, but you cannot push people to something that they don't need, and that is the how I manage all my work over the years, and as a big part of all work we do is I find it as a big part is that we need to consider environment, and I know that is almost that subject is overused today, but we really need to pay special attention to materials we use, to construction sites, to environment, to, how to say, for example, I had a project on Cook Islands, and they have strict rules there. They cannot import shingles, no any asphalt product, or anything that can harm environment, and we needed to work around all of that, and it's really it's really challenging part of our work, and they, for example, set strict rules about everything, and about how to say, protecting the nature, so that is and that is I think that is the integral part of the need to be integral part of our doing. Okay, what I was planned to present today is architecture. I send the summary. I'm not sure if everybody get the summary before class or it's that kind of deal.
If you want, Ivan, do you want me to present it for you, or do you want to present it? It's up to you.
Yeah, I will present. I can share. Yeah, I can share.
Fantastic. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll provide the materials after the class. But in the meantime, we can, if you want to present it, that's great. If not, I can also present it since I have it.
No, I can do it. I prepare myself.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, so what is the I divide to what I want to share with you. I divide in some part of some kind of subjects, and I will talk about architecture through history. I will talk about the role of architects in the modern era, and I will talk about the importance of getting the right path with education and most importantly with skills and everything that we need to gain. And I will talk about evolution of our profession through AutoCAD, and I know a lot of a lot of people because I work in CAD since 2002, for example, and when I get to younger colleagues, and I always ask the questions, do you know what this shortcut actually mean, you know? Because Autodesk CAD is a software, but CAD, it means actually computer aid design, you know? So it's actually computer software that we use for make our life easier and make our profession easier. And the last subject, of course, is we always need to go green. You know, we always need to think about that. So I'm not sure if I will be if this will be I don't know too much about this, but I just want to go through things what I think that is important, so that we can understand actually importance and to understand the deal about using of drafting softwares. I mean, AutoCAD is one of the softwares, you know. There is a lot of other softwares that you can use, you know, and but they are not I need to be honest, you know, they are not that good as AutoCAD.
That's right. Yeah, we were just earlier in the meeting, Ivan. We were, you know, just while we were logging in, we were showing some alternatives to AutoCAD, because we can get it free for 30 days, but after that you have to pay a pretty big subscription. So we posted it in the comments about, you know, 6-7 different alternatives. But yes, they're all, like you said, they have some limitations, not quite all the functions, but
yes,
each of them you might be able to find what you need.
Yeah,
so
I think the DVG plan, I think that is the software I sometimes use because a lot of design studios cannot buy AutoCAD when they are on beginning, you know, so they use substitutes. Sorry, they use substitutes, and for example, that DVG, I think DVG free plan, that is the name of the software. It's quite good. It's small, it's free, and can do something, you know. So, but believe me, after all these years, I try a lot of softwares, and without help and without actual learning, you know, because I taught myself everything, and the only thing that I actually learned is AutoCAD in 2002, you know, and I have it in my high school because I was in that technical high school, and we have AutoCAD there, and we learn it. And I was the first generation that actually learned in my country. and that is really interesting. And when you said somebody that you work 20 years in some software, it's you know, and it's really interesting thing. And I go all evolution of the software actually, because at first it was really limited with everything, because not many know that AutoCAD is actually made for mechanical engineering, and it used only to make elements for the electric motors or some kind of mechanical stuff about transmissions and screws and something like that. So that was the first purpose of AutoCAD. Okay, I will go now. Yeah, I will go now. Some kind of how to say introduction, and how we, through history, the necessity of building the shelter. Let's say it's the most good thing to say. It's actually building the shelter, not building the home. We first needed to create the shelter for to protect us from how to say, from the weather, from enemies, from the predators, you know. And there is ongoing argument about what was the first how to say shelters, but they upon the latest discoveries they I'm sorry, I just stuck in the moment. Yeah,
they discovered, they unearthed.
Yeah, they unearthed. Yes. So thank you for the word. They unearthed some new things, and there is general opinion that we actually gather because we need to socialize, and we need to be strong in the group. I mean, in the pack, and that is I think that is how the life now work, you know, because you cannot be alone in this world, you know. You need to have how to say colleagues. You need to have people around you that can help you in some kind of you know, situations, and that's why I'm talking about so that are the first settlements and the first shelters, and then we develop and grow in the cities, because we needed more sociality, when we needed more strength, you know, and we need to gather around, you know. And that actually historically looking, that actually happened on the different part of the worlds in the same time, actually, you know, because it's interesting thing that that the Mayans and the culture in the South and the North America was the same period like the pyramids in the Egypt, you know. And that is really interesting, and they don't have any connections in between, you know. And you have and you have for example, now they uncovered all that Mayan cities, and they uncovered everything else, and the most recent they uncovered that you see here, I put Karakorum. It's ancient big city in Mongolia, you know, and everybody was thinking that there was like savages there, but they actually have the cities, they have the parliament, they have schools, they have everything down there, you know. And that is the way how we actually evolve through history, and how we evolve with the place we live, with the cities and the settlements we live in, and with the gathering around everything. But around sometimes around 17 1800 17 18 how to say, sorry, around 7000 and 7,700 year, and after that we come to the situations like, for example, it's a good example of Barcelona. Everybody can look that on the internet, you know. Barcelona got in the some crazy mess, you know, and they need to start over, you know, like reset, because they have a town that is actually fall in the ruins, you know, and it was not done right, and they need to be redesigned, you know, and they do that big plan, and architects called Cerda create that plan, and that is a lot of people from the profession taking that time as the point of creating the modern city, you know, and that is around 150 years ago. So that was taken like a point where people realized that we need to have some solid reconstruction on whole cities, you know. That is the time where, for example, London grow up again, you know, New York start completely develop, cities in Asia start to grow, because everybody start to be overpopulated, and cities just was not fit enough anymore for that amount of people. And that's why we come to the point where we need to take functionality at most in consideration, because you need to function well, you know, in the city, because you need to have rules, you need to have how to say, you need to have standards, you need to have some kind of guidance, how you, and some kind of plans for the future, how you plan to develop everything, you know. And I think that now also is the time where a lot of cities in the world are on the same brink of trouble, you know. A lot of big cities in Europe and a lot of big cities in the world are in that overpopulated stage, you know, and this outbreak of Corona really pushed that out, you know. And we see, for example, swans in Venice, because Venice don't have actual people that live in the town, you know. There is a tourist location, and for example, Hong Kong had a big trouble because they don't have infrastructure to hold that amount of people, you know, to bring everybody good health care, to bring everybody good service, you know. And that is also the crucial part of architecture, because we need to be prepared, and we need to know that that one city and each building, each house, everything need to have their own functionality, because I will talk about that later also. But any form, any building without function, it's not building, it's not architecture, it's a sculpture, you know. Because if you cannot use something and well, you can only look, and you can only look at the monument, you know, you can only look at the sculpture of anything, you know, and you cannot use it well, you know. And that's why I'm just pointing out that much functionality of everything. And the next thing what I want to talk is it's exactly that, you know. What is the role of architect in the modern world? We need to be aware that most of the people actually not aware. We are not providing just roof above heads, you know, because that for that you don't there is no need for architect, you know. And everybody can you see, if we take back. Everybody can make a roof above the head, you know. There is no need for education for that, but we are not doing that, you know. We are creating the home. We are creating the good environment. And how we create that? We create that by connecting every aspect of living, every aspect of life that connect in between and need to be functional, you know, because without that, you just don't doing the work right, you know. That's why I for example, these 4 examples here are really interesting. You have Golden Gate, you have Sydney Opera, you have one of the great Calatrava's objects, and you have this South Pole Haley station, you know, and this Calatrava is a museum in Milwaukee. But you need to realize point of that. You need to realize that, for example, San Francisco is divided between islands, and to get people from one to another side, you need to have a bridge. And in the history, the bridges was always there to connect people, not to divide them, you know. For that, you have Trump's wall between Mexico. I mean, you know, and that's why that is the biggest point of functionality, you know. That is the main purpose. You see on the exact moment what is the deal, you know. And for example, for the Sydney Opera, they want to have something amazing, you know. They want to have people surprised. They want to have something unusual, but also they want to mimic environment surrounding, you know. Opera is actually, when you look at on all of the sides, it's actually on the water. All these shells are created to mimic that, to shape that, but also to have functionality for the inside, because you have inside something that need to be acoustic. You need to have good sound, because everybody need to hear well from the stage, you know. Everybody in the public, in the viewing area, you know. And that's why you need to connect all that together to get good thing. And for example, I think that you cannot. I never have words to explain Calatrava's work, you know, because it's just amazing, you know. And if you see his train stations, his bridges, and this museum, it's just amazing. And that is the purpose of that object, you know. It's a museum, and you need to be attracted to that. You will first be attracted to the building, of course, but you will be dragged inside, you know. And that is the purpose. And of course, this Haley station is really populated the last years, and they what they do, they create the habitat that is actually movable over the years, and they create some sustainable life inside for all the explorers that are there, and make their life easier, because they always need to move to make research on the next on the next location. And that is really something amazing. And of course, you can see this in the back. It's really up to discussion, you know. Maybe it's all over the news, and especially it's in the news for the people that don't like it, and for the countries that actually are against it, you know. And you can argue that it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, it's a functional thing, or it's not functional thing. I think it's something in between, and time will say, because they will. I'm 100% sure they have money. They will build that, you know. They will actually create the glass wall in the middle of the desert. I mean, this is nothing but the glass wall in the middle of the desert when you look at it like this, you know. But that is also the way where the role of architect evolved today, you know. And that is the direction maybe it's a wrong direction. It will not be first time that the profession go in the wrong direction, you know, and that or that some part of some how to say not parts but branches of architecture and some styles just go in another direction, you know. And we will see where will this lead us. They explain this through sustainability, through I don't know, independent, through all the functionality inside, you know. But I don't know, is it worth it, you know? Is it good looking? How that translates to the areas where it's go through, you know? And what will actually be with all that, you know? And that is the thing about form and function, you know, because the function is one thing, the form is another, you know. And there is you can always design from the form to the function, or you can adjust the form to the function, or you can make some form functional, you know. But again, it is not anything new, you know. The first shelters are actually the form of the caves, and the people adjust to that, you know. The town is in Turkey that is uncovered in the past years. It's also function is adjusted to the environment, you know. And all that is repeating through history, you know. And but still, I think always, because we are architects and our science is like that we need to be and stay humane, you know. We need to be according to human, because this is for us, not for some alien species, you know. This is for us.
Thank you, Ivan. I just wanted to share a couple things with our students. If you have any questions for Ivan Petkovic, who's presenting, just raise your hand, go to the reaction icon and feel free to raise your hand. And if Ivan is okay with it, we can call upon the students now or at the end of the presentation. I don't know what you prefer. I just had a quick comment regarding what you mentioned of the South American Mayans, Aztecs, and the Egyptians. They have. Are you familiar with the Oltec? The Toltecs. Basically, it's a more ancient civilization than the Mayans and Aztecs. And these Toltecs, they discovered these round heads, these giant stone heads, and they had very African features, lips, nose, everything was African of origin. And so these Toltecs are thought to have perhaps traveled from the continent of Africa to Latin America, obviously thousands of years before Columbus. And the other question was, in Saudi Arabia, what do you think about the form and function of the what they call the line city, where it's going to go across in a straight line, a city with high-speed transportation that connects from one side of Saudi Arabia to the other side of Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, for the first thing, yes, I know. For that, they how to say, they also cannot fit the people from the Easter Islands, you know, because they are just there, you know. And you can argue about DNA or I don't know anything and why they extinct actually, but yeah, that's why we make a point. The history make a point that Colombo actually discovered something, you know. But the Vikings were on the Newfoundland, I don't know, 300 or 400 years ago before him, you know. And that is the deal. You cannot be completely sure about anything, but that it's completely, I'm completely sure that they know about each other, you know.
Right, absolutely. And
and
they were
this,
already there. They were already there. In other words,
yes,
there were people already there. I'm sure they didn't think that they were discovered. They already were living there.
yeah, and that is the also the deal of the great migrations, you know, and the theory, not a theory, it's a real stuff, you know, that all the Homo sapiens actually go from Ethiopia and travel all the way to the north, you know, and they get to the Neanderthals, and the Neanderthals disappear or melted between Homo sapiens, and that is why I cannot argue with that. And I think anybody with clear mind cannot say no, it's not like that. Colombo was first. No, it's really not like that. And the Lion City, yeah, I told you that I showed it in the behind. I don't know. It's really up to discussion, because my first question when I see this, I didn't go anywhere further than the question why. You know, my first question was why, and if you need to explain that first question to me, then something is not quite right, you know. And then come other news about how they push people away, and how they actually trying to divide country, and how that will actually divide everything that is there, and how they will be actually power up all thing, and are they going to drill something, you know?
The only thing I understood from that city is that because it's on the south part of Saudi Arabia, they're trying to bypass the Sinai Peninsula that connects all the traffic from Africa to the Middle East. So they're trying to make a lower towards the south, an access point. So people who are traveling up from Africa can then go across a bridge and actually go through the Lion City. So it will bypass, you know, Egypt and the Sinai Peninsula and things like that.
I know, but if the media cover 10% of 10% of a Lion City, if they cover only 10% to the green wall that go from the west side of Africa to the east, if they cover it at 10%, that project, I think it will be more helpful to everybody, you know. It will be more helpful to the people who live there. It will be more helpful for the environment, to the planet, for everybody. And this, I think, this is just like there is historically there is how to say, the theory why the Second World War started. People was bored, you know, and they didn't know what to do, you know. They have a lot of money, and then all the countries are growing, you know, and they go just in the war, you know. And that is the same thing here, you know. You can create so much more than the Lion City, and to explain that, to connect people from one to another point, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Elon Musk have idea to have that bored tube high-speed train, you know. But I still think he was joking, you know. You know, but that makes sense, and this one, for me, doesn't make sense. You know,
Fair enough.
It's really, but again, it's really only my opinion, you know. It's really up to discussion. I'm open to hear everybody opinion about that, but it's really, I don't know.
Okay, well, so far we don't have any other questions. There's just one on the chat that says, talking about design, what do you mean by form to function and function to form? So I don't know if you care to clarify that a little bit, or Emmanuel?
Yeah, there is one simple explanation. When I start studying architecture, and when I prepare for my to enter the faculty, I need to take exam. and we have the hand drawing. It's a hand drawing exam, you know, and you have something that you actually hand draw on the paper. And we always had on our wall, we have something like an inspiration. It was a design studio from Japan, and how they create modern buildings. The main architect take a piece of paper and just make a ball with that piece of paper, and then spread and put it on the ground. And then come 10 people around and draw that shape of paper, you know. And from there, they say, okay, we will now create inside of this shape, we will now create, I don't know, hospital, or we create the office building or something like that, you know. And for example, here, if you take a look at the Sydney Opera, you know, you have this shape, you have a form, you know, and from there you stick function inside, you know. There is some logic about shape, but not good enough that you will have this shape for the opera house, you know. But then you stick the functionality inside of it, you know. And for example, this Haley station in South Pole is actually created that way, that there was some initial requests because it's too cold, so it needs to be up from the ground. Need to be insulated, okay, check. Then it needs to withstand high pressure winds. How you do that? You do that when you create aerodynamic shape, like in a car, but still you cannot go like some pointy thing because you cannot fit the function inside. So they go in this many angle shape that be something somewhere in between, you know, in between form and function, you know, because you still have the form that withstand the wind and the cold weather and everything, and still have the function inside that is usable. Okay, did I answer the question?
Yes, I think so. We've got about 20 minutes left.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know how much more
Yep.
you want to cover. I'm just letting you know so you can time as you see fit.
Yeah. What this is really now, it's the next stage is why it's important to get the right path. You know, you need to have direction, and you always need to have in mind what is your end game in all of this. You know, why you starting in this profession, in this job, what you want to gain. You know, somebody want to gain fame, okay, it's good. Somebody want to gain money, okay, reasonable. You know, somebody just want to express herself, you know, like artistically, you know, and that is also really good thing. Other people have, a lot of people have different reasons, but you always need to have a reason why you do that, you know. You need, and you constantly need to expand and grow and get more and more knowledge, you know. And I always said knowledge, any knowledge is valuable, you know, because in my life, I work in the coffee shop, you know. Today, I know what exactly everything, you know, and I have professional espresso machine in my house. Why? Because I learn how to use that and I like it, you know. And that is the knowledge that is not go in vain, you know. And or if you not sure if you use it today, maybe you will use it tomorrow, you know. And that is why is important. I always said you it's important.
Sorry about that.
No,
Okay.
it's important to learn something, you know. You need to learn, you need to prepare yourself to learn every day and to learn something new, and that is my always my guidance through the life, you know. And you always need to ask questions, and why I say right questions, because you need to be sure why what are you asking, because if you ask good question, you will get usable answer, you know. And that is the really important thing in especially when you work, for example, with the clients, and you need to know and need to listen, you know, and always stay on that initial course on your part. Okay, now this is the really important thing, really important thing. How our profession evolved through AutoCAD, not AutoCAD only, through softwares, through computers, through digital era, you know. We simplify the process. I'll explain all the pictures. It's a really interesting story. We have more opportunity to try, to test and fail, and to try options to get good one on the end, because one click on the mouse or the keyboard is priceless in that in designing things in the softwares. We have more accessible sources of information and exchange. I don't know, Rick, if you told them, but there is a good websites, for example, because when you draw, I don't know, floor plans for the house or something like that, you need to have chairs, you need to have furniture, you need to have, and you have all the web network of different web pages where you can learn, where you can actually take that and share that, you know. There is a big communities. One of them is a CAD forum for Czech Republic, and I use it often. I share my drawn furniture and I can download everybody else's, and it's a really great thing. And what is the part of the error in the computer working with the design in the houses, in the buildings, it's small, you know. We have a big accuracy, and we skip a lot of steps of preparation of drawings and everything. And of course, again, you need to know, if you want to work in the software, you need to learn it, and you need to practice, you know, and you need to be sure that, and you need to be humble. Never believe that you know everything about that software, because it will turn back on you, because you always have something that you don't know. Believe me, after 20 years, there is a things that I still today discover in the how things can be done on different way, or how things or maybe I just recently learned, for example, that some things I do differently and take me more time than my colleague that I meet recently, than his way, you know. And that's why you need to connect with the people, and that's why I say stay human, because as long as we stay on this side of the monitor, we still need to connect with people and to exchange experience, to exchange opinions and everything, and not to be arrogant or something like that, and always accept other opinions. And what is here on the pictures? The first picture here is actually architectural studio from my country, from big Yugoslavia, and it was a studio that actually create a lot of buildings in. I think they create, if I could remember, they create a lot of stuff in Egypt. They create a lot of stuff. I think they create the Parliament of Nigeria. They have a project in Ethiopia, and they really spread all around the world. And this was their studio in the 70s. You know, everybody have their own table, and they draw the plans on the table, and you see that this is infinitive line of the workers and the tables and the paper and everything. And that thing actually evolved. Down there is one of the biggest European studios. It's from the Foster and Partners, and they actually still have big line of the tables with people sitting next to each other. You know, they are still connected. They just use different tools. You know, and that is the important. And you see how great view they have. You know, I mean. And that is the greatest thing of this job, you know. And on the top right corner, you see this is the next part, you know. Before we have 3D models that are actually created by hands, you know. This is like people make hobbies about that, you know, created the small planes and everything, but they actually build. This is only the one of the models for the Sydney Opera, you know. There was, I think, more than 20 different models, you know. When they see how that will actually look, and today you actually use softwares like 3D Max, you use softwares like SketchUp, Chief Architect, Lumion. You use those softwares and you create 3D models, and you actually can create virtual reality for each of your project, and that way you can present it to the client. And that is the point where we evolve, you know. But still, nothing can compare to the live presentation to the clients, to the live presentation to people. People can ask, and that kind of interaction is really something that is the core of our job, you know. I mean, for example, 40 hours of work weekly, I have 20 hours of just talk with the client, you know, because you need to be connected. Is it that over the text? Is it that over the mail? Or actual call? You just need to be with the clients, you know. And again, softwares help really big deal, and that is the evolution. We go in that digital era, and we can do much more work with less people, you know. But that doesn't mean that we need less workers now than before, because before you have less people actually. It's actual civilizations. It's cultural thing, you know, because people, for example, in my country, live in the big buildings in the capital, you know, in the capital city of my country. And in that buildings are actually created in the 60s, you know, 60s and 70s. And that was the way how that worked there then, you know. And everybody had some kind of how to say, some kind of ranch out of town where they, I don't know, prepare some stuff or just enjoy in the nature, you know. But today people want to have apartment, they want to have the cabin, they want to have the boat, they want to have second car, you know. And always there is growth in everything, because we get in that exponential growth, and we just cannot break the line, you know. And that's why there will always be a job for working in this profession, you know.
Ivan, we have a good question here. Oh, nice. I like that new slide. I think you already answered this for Acacio Edu. Acacio asks, how do you avoid investing into a project that's not going to work out? And I think you mentioned 3D modeling would be a good idea. Virtual reality, you can actually walk around, see it before you invest even a dime into the construction. And the other part of Acacio Edu's question was, how long and what type of material would you use for a bridge like the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge, and to calculate, how long it will last, like its life expectancy?
That really is not. I mean, because I was great amount of time spent on the construction sites, and I really connect with other people from mechanical and from structural engineer and from civil engineers, and that thing this was interesting question, because this always interesting me, and amaze me, I'm not sure how you can calculate the warranty. They know that because of the type of material and everything. But I have interesting information is that when the Eiffel Tower is finished with paint coating on the top, they need to start again from the beginning, So
that's right. It's a constant cycle of maintenance.
Yeah, it's the constant cycle of maintenance. And I think that the Golden Gate Bridge is in very, very severe situation, because around is salt water, so I think they have a great amount of people that actually working on that.
Yeah, it's important to understand that to build like a bridge or a building like you're showing in the slide, it's the design is the architect, the idea, the function, is the
Yes.
architect, and then the architect will work with the structural engineer, with the civil engineer, with the materials science, because some of those buildings there, they may require materials that we haven't invented yet if we want to
Yes.
make, gigantic structures.
Yes, for example, you maybe somebody follow that. For example, the SpaceX needed to create a new material that can shell out this new starship that can actually breach the atmosphere and enter back, because it's need to be completely different. And on the end, after all that work, people are mocking actually and calling the flying barn, or flying silo. It's not respectful, to be honest, because there is a lot of people actually put the effort for exploring that kind of stuff. And I'm looking now other questions. Best materials to use to build better roads and faster. I don't know. They're pretty good with their. I think there is some kind of I know for the fact that, for example, in Iceland, they actually use that lava stone they have actually locally, and they implemented that in the structure, and their roads last really, really long, because they always flooded, and they are half year under the water and the other half under snow, and but they don't require some kind of maintenance. And I see some recycled plastic roads that are already taking a motion in Australia, I think. But I don't think that is a good idea, because the plastic is plastic, and you cannot recycle it over and over and over and over again, because it's still plastic.
No, and it can make microplastics as the cars go over the plastic road. It could make it microparticles, I think.
And it's creating microparticles, and they discover actually that we will soon enough, everybody will have microfragments of the plastics inside of our DNA or blood, and then the cells and everything, because it's not so how to say, I think that most reasonable thing is to use a local material. That is what you can do faster and to do better, because that is only sustainable thing today, and there is a big discussion about okay, bamboo wood, it is sustainable, for example, but it's not good if you transfer tons and tons of bamboo wood in Europe,
Right.
because
Yes.
that is not anymore sustainable, you know.
No. Yeah, it defeats the purpose. It's got to be like you mentioned in Iceland, that they happen to use the volcanic rock, which is abundantly available. I know in Mexico, where I'm from, a lot of the buildings, they have these big boulders. Instead of using cement blocks, they use big boulders of lava stone and put
Yes.
cement, they use cement around it. And that's a common form of construction. So yeah, to be sustainable, affordable, has to be locally sourced.
Must be locally sourced. So it's something that you always need to pay attention about, and that is the great discussion we start, and we can conclude all this with this last topic that I will really fast do, because everybody talking about this, it's really important, and it's really good. And to be honest, I started with the green architecture and sustainability 14 years ago, and because that was the first part of my on my faculty. It was the first time that we had that on my university, and that is the future actually of our profession, and that is the future of the planet. And I think that architecture is the really important link in this chain, because we need to be aware of everything. And of course, we now need to know a lot of more information than before, because you need to know everything about VOC, everything about solar panels. You need to know everything about installations, about type of installations, about shadings, about sustainable materials. It's a really big thing, and I'm a part of one organization, and ongoing lectures from Brazil, and we really talk a lot. They really have great presentations and everything, and we really talk a lot about the sustainability. And I think that every person who wants to expand herself and in the future of this profession need to be connected with any kind of green architecture and the green movement, and to explore. And most important thing, if you learn something, don't be afraid. You need to share. You need to spread the word, because that will come back to you. You will get the different information from that person. Believe me. I mean, if you spread the word to 50 people, and if you get from 25 something in return, you are good to go, and not be in despair, because some people don't want to share. I always share. I mean, there is a known fact that nothing on the world is not in design, in architecture, aside of materials. Everything is already invented, but it's just there, and they just not used right, and you just need to point out for everybody, if you have idea how to use something. You cannot get rich over the night if you, I don't know, invent curved wall. I mean, you see, there is a lot of curved wall here. So,
yes, it's kind of like someone who discovers gravity. Well, gravity was already there. We just didn't name it or define it. It's already there in nature. The atom is already there in nature. We just learned how to get the. Very good. Well, I mean, with that, I mean, I would love to invite you back at some point, if you're available, Ivan Petkovic, for maybe for what you mentioned that you've been working for with a company in Brazil, if it's sustainable green materials or something like that, to do a deep dive in those types of topics, I think would be great as a follow-up to your today's presentation. And thank you so much for being here. If you have one more minute, there is one good question I see there from Evelyn Giassi. Evelyn, if you're still there, I don't know if you want to ask the question, or if you like, I'll gladly ask it for you.
I see. Is there an AutoCAD or 3D CAD software that allows virtual simulation of how a user within the design space would feel and behave within the space? studies show that our rooms and indoor spaces has subtle effect on our psyche. Yeah, especially when we stay indoor for longer period of times, like in Corona. I don't know the country that is not actually in prison during this time. Yeah, it's a good question, and there is a good software called Lumion. There is a subscription for that. It's really but you can organize, because you can use like a shared license and something like that. And I got it from some client, and it's really great for that kind of thing. And it's a good to how to say, yeah, it's a Lumion. And
yeah, it kind of it brings your design to reality, and so you can measure everything and see what a human looks like inside the room, so you can see, okay, is 10 feet enough or we need more?
Yeah, and you can and also there is a good there is a good how to say, there is a good applications for the phones, for example, where you can create actually, where you can see actually, because each Android phone today can become virtual glasses, you know, if you have that VR part of the phone. But I think everybody had in the last 2 years, that is a common thing.
Excellent. And I just heard from our IT director, who apparently is listening to you, Ivan.
Yep.
He said that he was able to get the Lumion for free for 1 year with the university.
Yes.
So if somebody wants to use Lumion, we'd be happy to help with a license, educational license.
Yeah, and the Lumion is good for that part, because you can step by step, you know, you can get into it, and it's easy to understand if it's good presented, you know. And I just want last word to say is this is the future actually, and I strongly believe that this is the future of our how to say, of our profession. We need to start thinking of how we can build something that is not on Earth, you know, because there is, as Rick said, there is a gravity, but a different kind of gravity, you know, and different kind of environment, you know, because this is something that that is really a good topic for discussion and good topic for explore. And I actually do some concept work on the sustainable space station, and it's really something that everybody can explore deeply and get. It's really interesting, you know. I think the biggest reason I'm in this profession, it's because it's interesting, you know, it's funny, and it's every day it's something new.
Fantastic. Those designs for I guess Mars or the lunar colony must be amazing to Mars must be amazing to try to think about. So that's the best. Amazing. Well, we hope to have you back, Ivan Petkovic. Thank you so much for this presentation, and maybe the next presentation can be the sustainable materials or some of the designs for space, or you'll decide what's best. We'd love to do a kind of a sequence.
Okay, if you want to have me, I will glad to participate.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ivan. Let me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark.
Thank you, sir.
Tatu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Eli.
Thank you.